Hey everybody, welcome to Psychology Element. Sometimes you meet someone new, and they're so confident, they're cocky or arrogant. Although these traits aren't desirable to most people, if these negative traits stop there, their behavior is fairly harmless. They might make you feel insecure, intimidated, or envious by their natural dominance, but they are not actually trying to cause you pain. Sometimes common cockiness, arrogance, and confidence are confused with narcissism. People might view anyone who isn't afraid to show themselves off or who might be rude deserve the same label as the psychological diagnosis, and assume they're all manipulative and lacking in empathy. However, there is a big difference between narcissism and high confidence. In fact, narcissistic personality disorder only represents 1% of the population and is characterized by extreme, rigid, and maladaptive personality traits. Seeing as the prevalence of true narcissism is quite low, it is unlikely the new arrogant guy at work is one. However, it is important to keep an eye out for red flags. Try not assuming they are an untrustworthy narcissist. So instead of wondering whether or not you should be running away from a cocky person or give them a chance to see if they're authentic, keep watching, because today's video is how to spot the difference between cockiness and narcissism. Be sure to stick around until the end. The last point is one of the most important distinguishing factors of narcissism and someone having a little too much self-confidence. Alright, let's get started. Number 6. Both can be charming, but a narcissist's charm is used to conceal insecurities. Cocky people can be incredibly charming. Their high levels of confidence and dominance can be very appealing to those around them. This charm comes from a place of real external validation that reinforces their egos, allowing them to speak freely without fear of judgment. They don't need to prove themselves to those around them, because deep down they're not filled with crippling insecurity. Some might find their boastful charm annoying, especially if they always want to be the center of attention and steal the spotlight from others. But overall, their behavior is harmless and not fueled by malicious intentions. In contrast, the narcissist's charm is a mask that hides their insecurities and is used to conceal their ulterior motives of either luring you in for validation or to tear you down to make themselves feel better. Although their charm can create the illusion of a confident, trusting, and kind individual that is difficult to differentiate from a regular cocky or confident person, it is not a real reflection of how they feel about themselves. In fact, in 2013, researchers conducted an experiment to test whether a narcissist's false mask represents how they feel about themselves. They asked individuals with a narcissistic personality disorder to say adjectives to show how they truly feel about themselves. The results showed that narcissists associated more negative adjectives to themselves than healthy groups. This shows that despite their external grandiose charm, they actually view themselves poorly. So it might be difficult to tell whether a charming person is cocky or a narcissist, but try to keep an ear out for hints of real insecurity, such as when they're given criticism. Number 5. Narcissists have impaired empathy, but cocky people's empathy can work fine. While cocky people's empathy might not be their strongest suit, they are still able to genuinely care about others and feel compassion or remorse. A cocky person might be self-absorbed, but they don't feel pleasure when another person is hurting. In contrast, a narcissist's biggest and most important feature is their lack of empathy. They don't view humans as individuals deserving of dignity or value, especially if it's more than theirs. In their world, anyone who threatens their ego should be humiliated and pushed down to make themselves feel better. In social situations where empathy and compassion are expected, they are able to use their cognitive empathy to act as if they are, but it's fake. A narcissist's lack of empathy is what makes them such dangerous people to meet. Once they have found their target, no amount of reasoning or explaining why their behavior is wrong will make them feel any remorse or desire to change. Whether their behavior is discarding someone dependent on them or insulting their character, the narcissist will never be able to empathize and change. Number 4. Narcissists are callous and demonize those who threaten their egos. Cocky people might have the tendency to come across as rude sometimes. They are self-absorbed and usually think they're the best at what they're good at. Sometimes they'll feel threatened by people and act aggressively. But once that person is out of sight, their self-esteem replenishes, and they move on with their lives. They don't feel driven to tear people down to make themselves feel better. Instead, they either work on themselves to regain their status, or they learn to live with the slight hit to their ego. Narcissists aren't as forgiving as your typical normal cocky person. This is largely due to their lack of empathy, as mentioned above. In 2018, a study was done to determine how related regular high confidence and narcissistic personality disorder actually are. The results showed that both groups are similar in terms of assertiveness, self-agency, positive emotions, and the drive for rewards. However, after that, there aren't any more similarities. Narcissists scored much higher on callousness, demonizing behaviors, entitlement, and grandiosity. Enjoying the video so far? We've always got great new free psychology content. Click that subscribe button. It's 1 second for endless knowledge. Number 3. Cocky people will be annoyed when things don't go as planned. Narcissists will be furious. Everyone gets irritated when things don't go as planned. A cocky person might be more annoyed than the average person. Their high confidence can give them an illusion of invincibility, and when that illusion is shattered, it might take them a bit to recalibrate. However, their self-confidence comes from within. They are able to look back on their previous successes and use those as validation to drive them to either accept the hardships or they will problem solve until they find another solution. Narcissists hate when things don't go as planned, so much that it can make them furious. Their rigid personality traits and entitlement can go as far as making them believe they truly deserve everything to go as planned. Even something like a stormy day when they plan to go to the beach can spoil their days and make them take it out on others. They need to blame someone for everything, even if it was out of anyone's control or they're to blame. Number 2. Cocky people might brag about their accomplishments. Narcissists will lie or brag to tear people down. Cocky people brag because they're proud and want praise for their accomplishments. Sometimes they might take it too far and accidentally make others feel bad about themselves, but that's not the goal. They simply want to share what they've done and love it when people stroke their ego. On the other hand, narcissists will often lie about the things they've done or manipulate the truth to make themselves seem much better. They do this to make other people feel worse about themselves. Even if what they're bragging about is a complete lie, they still revel in making people feel bad about themselves. Number 1. Narcissism is developed during childhood. Cockiness can be built over time. Cocky people's self-confidence is built over time. Their self-esteem might not always be the best, and they can still feel insecure, but it comes from a healthy, real place, built on actual success. Someone who might have been insecure and shy could end up being charming and cocky in 10 years from now. Therapy, a healthy lifestyle, a loving relationship, or success in your pursuits can build confidence. Sometimes the confidence can turn into arrogance, but it's not a rigid, stable pattern across their lifespan. Those with narcissistic personality disorder develop their patterns of behaviors and thinking in childhood. There are a few different ways narcissism can be fostered, but it normally involves the ways the parents treated them. Trauma, like abuse or neglect from parents, is one way the parents can create narcissism rather than self-confidence. This can create low self-esteem in the child and never enables them to act like themselves, thus creating a mask early on in childhood. When the child is taught that they're not allowed to have flaws without punishment or neglect, they will begin forming defense mechanisms to protect themselves from the pain they felt then. Because they are built so early in age, it makes it nearly impossible for them to learn healthier ways of thinking. Another way narcissism can be built is when parents do the exact opposite. Instead of abuse or neglect, they constantly dote on their child with excessive admiration. When the child acts badly, like if they pushed another kid at the park, the parents might not discipline them and instead tell them that the other child was really the one in the wrong. They'll tell them that they're the smartest, most talented, and special child in the world. These behaviors build their sense of entitlement and create the belief that they are not given the same consequences as other people. Ultimately, like any personality disorder, they are formed during childhood. So, if they appear to have a pattern of unstable relationships and entitlement throughout their lives, it's a good indicator that it's not just confidence, it's probably narcissism. And that's a wrap. Did you learn how to spot the difference between cockiness and narcissism? Have you ever met someone who you could not quite decide on? We would love to hear your thoughts. Let us know in the comments below. And before you go, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any psychology videos. And make sure to check out our Dark Personalities playlist for more. And thanks for watching.